The most unforgettable wildlife experience in the US, and most people don't even know about it. Nick, what is it about Crystal River that people fall in love with?
We're the manatee capital of the world. Swimming with manatees is the crown jewel of our community. It's almost like a spiritual experience for some folks when they get into the water because of just how peaceful and amazing the experience is.
I want to welcome people to Inspired Travels with Patti. If you are new here, I created this podcast and YouTube channel to inspire people to live life more fully. And I believe that's through adventure, unique experiences, and exploring new places. I have the privilege of having Nick Popham on the show. You're originally from Southern California, and you have lived in nearly every region in this country and has fallen in love with Crystal River, Florida, which is where you are now located. You are the marketing and content manager for Discover Crystal River, where Nick loves to share all the amazing things people could do in Crystal River and the rest of Citrus County. And he's going to share it with us today. Nick, welcome to Inspired Travels with Patti.
Thank you so much for having me on, Patti. I'm loving the content that you put together, and I'm just so excited to be able to talk about this place that I've fallen in love with.
Yeah, so the two of us together being so excited about this area, we're gonna try and keep it moving and
Hold it
not
together.
get. No, we're not. We're just going to jump in because it really is that kind of place. So thank you for joining me. I fell in love, like I said, with Crystal River and the surrounding area. I've spent quite a bit of time down there. What was it that you first fell in love when you've been to almost every region in the country? What was it about this area that made you fall in love?
Patty, there's just something so unique about this area, not only because we're the manatee capital of the world, right? We're the only place in the country where you can swim with manatees and passively observe them from in the water. I mean, that in and of itself is a pretty incredible thing. But being able to go and just experience the nature of the nature coast of Florida, whether you're in Crystal River or a little further south in Homosassa, where they have beautiful springs and a beautiful natural river there as well, or going further inland to places like Inverness, where you have an incredible small town and an awesome small town environment that even brought Elvis over there in the 1960s. I mean, there's so much about this area that's so eclectic and so interesting that when I found out that there was a position where I got to highlight this community and then celebrate the businesses in this community, I couldn't have jumped at the opportunity faster because it's just so special. So much of this is so special and unique that I've never really seen anywhere else in Florida, let alone the rest of the country.
And I have to agree with you. When I've visited that area probably 4 times and stayed anywhere from a week to 2 weeks and experienced a lot of what you're talking about. And it just touched me that same way. It is a feeling and a vibe and I can't even describe what it feels like to be in that area. The people are so warm and friendly, and there is so much to do and so much nature. It's incredible, and we're going to dive into it. Now, tell us the story about how you got involved and tell us about Discover Crystal River.
In a prior life, for about 10 years, I was a professional television reporter. So I worked in TV news for about 10 years, and that's why I was in every part of the country. Growing up in Southern California, my first job was in Sioux City, Iowa. So I lived in Iowa for a couple years, then moved to Little Rock, Arkansas, and worked there. Then moved to Seattle, Washington, where I met my wife, and we lived there for about 3 years before ultimately coming down to Florida. And I worked at a news station in Tampa Bay for about 3 years before ultimately making the change to come to Discover Crystal River. And when I worked at Bay News 9, one of my favorite things to do, Patty, was have a story that was in Crystal River because I was like, oh my gosh, I get to go to Crystal River. Yeah, count me in. I don't mind if it's an hour, hour and a half drive from Tampa. I'm going to make that commute because this place is worth visiting. And it was always such a blast to be able to highlight some of the businesses here and highlight some of the events that were happening here. So again, as I mentioned earlier, when I had the opportunity to then move into this role with Discover Crystal River, I was so stoked because the different things that I've already gotten to do just within the last half a year has been incredible. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've gone swimming with manatees since I've started. Going kayaking down the Chassahowitzka River in Homosassa is incredible. And it feels like you're in an untouched piece of Florida, which when people visit Florida, they think of Disney, they think of Miami. I mean, the last thing they're thinking of is natural Florida. They're thinking of the tourism aspect. For us, ecotourism is huge. And the amount of ecotourism you can do in this community where you feel like you're miles and miles away from civilization is truly incredible. I mean, my colleague and I went on a hike not too long ago. I think it was last week in Crystal River at this place, the 7 Mile Loop Trail. It's not too far away from downtown Crystal River, maybe only like a 5-minute drive, but you get into that trail, you're in the middle of it, you feel like you are eons away from civilization. It's just so secluded and so beautiful. We just at one point stopped and just listened, and we were like, I can't hear a thing. All I hear are birds, and all I hear is the wind rustling through the brush. That's it. And it's amazing how incredibly cathartic that is for a person. Like, I know for me, being out there in the environment, it's so calming and relaxing just to be out there in nature and not have to worry about anything else that's going on in the real world.
That was amazing. I'm ready to pack a bag, small bag, and head down there.
We'll welcome you with open arms once again, Patti.
Yes, yes, I would love that. And we'll have to plan that actually.
Absolutely.
So tell us what Discover Crystal River is. Tell us about what they're about.
To make it as easy for folks to understand, we're basically the tourism department for Citrus County, where Crystal River is located. And our responsibility is to promote and to showcase just how incredible this community is so that people will, like yourself, want to pack a bag and make their way here so they can enjoy the awesome amenities and the awesome experiences that we have here. Excuse me, because not only do we have those outdoor ecotourism experiences, but when we get people coming into our community, what they do is really help fund so much of what we have, the restaurants, the hotels, the experiences. I mean, tourism is one of the lifebloods of this community. And it's so cool to be able to see just what it can do and how it can elevate our community to bring in new restaurants and new experiences. Because, oh my gosh, some of the restaurants here, I feel like if they don't have a Michelin star yet, they should, because they're amazing. So it's what we love to do is just highlight everything about our community and show why it's worth packing up a bag and making your way over here, no matter where you are in the country.
Yes, yes. Or in the world, I would imagine.
Absolutely. One of our top destinations people coming from is Brazil. Like right now we're seeing a surge in folks from Brazil making their way to Crystal River. Same with Canada and the UK, Germany, lots of folks. I mean, it's amazing when you go out onto the water. And we were just joking the other day. It was like, I don't think I've gone out on the water in over 2 years and haven't heard a German accent. It's just amazing. So many people coming from all around the world to experience Crystal River and what we have to offer.
Well, I am all about going across the country and finding hidden gems. And as far as hidden gems, Crystal River and the area is certainly at the top of the list. I just want to let people know, for people who don't know where it's located, it is about 70 or 80 miles north of Tampa. A lot of my listeners are familiar with Tampa. It is on the Gulf Coast. And it's hard to say enough about it. But let's start with the manatees, those gentle giants.
I get so excited to even talk about manatees. Like, where do I begin? So just personally, I didn't know much about manatees before making my way to discover Crystal River. Manatees are now my favorite animal. I am obsessed with manatees. They are absolutely adorable. They're amazing. They're gentle giants. They're just incredible in every facet. So to break down just sort of the logistics of a manatee, right? So manatees in Crystal River throughout the year, there's generally about, I want to say 40 to maybe 100 who are in Kings Bay, where Crystal River is located, all year round. No matter what temperature it is, they'll usually be in the bay. And our awesome tour operators are able to find them and be able to have that passive observation experience with those manatees. But during the winter time, I always like to say that we are the only place in Florida that's stoked when it gets cold. Because when it gets cold, all the manatees make their way to Crystal River to go to our warm springs because the water remains 72 degrees no matter what the temperature is outside of the water. And manatees know this. It's instinctual in them because of generations of making their commute from the Gulf to Crystal River. So thousands descend upon Kings Bay to our springs to then stay warm, huddle up, and make sure they can make their way through the winter until it warms back up and they're able to go back out into the Gulf where their food source is, their eelgrass. Now, when you see a manatee, most people think, oh, they're just big blubbery guys. They're like whales or they're chonks. And while they look like adorable chonks, they actually have no body fat. That's why they need to come to the springs during the winter. Because they have no body fat, it's just all ribs and muscle. And because of that, they get cold very easily. So as soon as the Gulf drops to, I want to say maybe about 68 degrees, they hightail it over to Crystal River and they want to get as warm as possible. And those springs that consistently have that warm water pushing out, I mean, it's a haven for them. And it's a haven for us to be able to get into the water because I tell you, I went swimming with the manatees, like I said, numerous times, but I went back, I want to say in December or January, where it was really cold in Florida. And really cold in Florida is about 35 degrees. So anywhere else, that's probably summertime and winter. But for us, that's freezing. So it's about 35 degrees out. And I'm in a wetsuit. I'm shivering because now I'm used to the Florida weather. So I was like, oh no, it's below 70. So then I had to get in the water. As soon as you get in the water, though, oh my gosh, it feels like a hot tub. And I'm like, now I want to hang out with the manatees all day in here because I understand why they're coming here. It's amazing.
That's incredible. Let's share. So I talked a little bit about being able to observe them from various docks that we were standing on, as well as taking a boat tour. I was staying at a campground called Crystal River Thousand Trails, and they have boats that you could rent there. And there was somebody there who had taken these boats out many times, and he was willing to take us out and show us the area, and that's where we got to see the manatees. So that is one way to experience them. Let's talk a little bit more about somebody who comes down and says, okay, I want to experience the manatees. How do I do that? What are some choices they have?
Say you don't want to get into the water, right? Say you're like, I don't feel like getting wet right now. I need to be able to just enjoy the manatees from above the water. One, I highly encourage you to get in the water. But if you don't, then Three Sisters Springs is an absolutely amazing and breathtaking park to go visit. So that's kind of I like to say it's the crown jewel of Crystal River, or for lack of a better term, the tourism Times Square of Crystal River. So basically, this is the place where if you want to see manatees when you go to the manatee capital of the world, Three Sisters Springs is probably your best bet during the winter time. Now, right now, because the weather is warming up a little bit, there aren't very many, if any, manatees that are in Three Sisters because they're back out into the Gulf because the Gulf is warmed up. But say you're here in December, you're here in November, January, one of those colder months. You will see manatees in there, and they have a beautiful boardwalk that goes around the spring. And the spring, crystal clear water. Patti, it looks like a swimming pool. It's incredible how clear and blue this water is. And the manatees go in there and they are just so peaceful. They look like a bunch of little potatoes just around this water source. It is so beautiful. So that's our favorite place to recommend folks to go when they want to see manatees above the water. Another place that has the potential to see manatees because of the awesome work with Save Crystal River, this nonprofit that's clearing a lot of the debris and algae that's in Kings Bay as a result of those two hurricanes a couple years ago, Hurricanes Helene and Milton, that resulted in some debris and covering of spouts and things like that for our natural springs, is Hunter Springs Park. Now, Hunter Springs Park is a cool public beach. You can go out there and swim. Manatees during the colder months sometimes do like to make their way there. There's a chance you'd be able to see them, but our recommendation is always either going to Three Sisters when you're in Crystal River, going to Three Sisters, or booking one of those boat tours to either go in the water with them or be above the water and see them from either a kayak or a boat, because you're with a guide who's able to kind of walk you through the process or at least showcase the process while still advocating for proper manatee manners. Because sometimes people, if they're left to their own devices and haven't watched this video that U.S. Fish and Wildlife has put together on proper manatee manners, people aren't necessarily doing that. And so we always like to encourage going with some professionals or staying out of the water just so that you can let manatees be peaceful and get that warmth that they're looking for. And the reason why they're in our springs to begin with, because we don't want to harm them. We don't want to do anything to bother them. We just want to passively observe these amazing creatures because that's what they are. They're amazing. One more place, if I could mention, that's a little further south in Homosassa. That's the town that's just south of Crystal River, is a place called the Ellie Schiller Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park. Say that 5 times fast. Now, the Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park has this really cool underwater fishbowl. And what it is, an underwater observatory. There's steps that go down into it, and it's an underwater aquarium in a natural environment. Like fish all over the place. When it's cold, you see manatees go right up against the glass. It's absolutely spectacular. So if you aren't in Crystal River, or say you're coming from Tampa and you don't want to make that remaining 25-minute drive from Homosassa to Crystal River, Homosassa is just as amazing of a spot to be able to either swim with manatees or go see them from the Wildlife State Park, because you'll be able to see them there too with just as clear water.
So there are a lot of options, and I was a science teacher for 20 years, and I'm big on people letting nature be, animals and wildlife be animals and wildlife and not feeding them. I know with the manatees, I learned that when people go in the water, they will come to people. For certain people, they will come to, and others they won't. Can you talk more about that?
I feel like when they see us, Patty, they just think we're all big manatees, because manatees don't have that impulse of fight or flight because they don't have any natural predators. So when they see us, they're just curious. They're like, what are these guys doing here? What's this manatee doing here with a beard? Like, that's weird. And then they'll just come up to you and just start observing, because they don't watch the Manatee Manners video. So we don't touch them. We passively observe, but they can do whatever they want. It's their home, their water. So, I mean, the amount of times that I've had a manatee come up and start chewing on my beard or just holding me. My favorite, Patty, I got to tell you, my favorite time was we were in the water and I'm floating there passively observing. And a manatee, they're sneaky ninjas too. They come out of nowhere. These 1,500-pound creatures. It's amazing. Swam up, went under me, and then hugged me from under. So I'm just sitting there like this, and the manatee just comes up and hugs me. And I feel like euphoria is an understatement. It was amazing. It was just so much fun. So they are absolutely spectacular creatures, and it's so much fun to be able to see them because, again, they just all are so curious. So they're really just trying to see what you're all about. And sometimes you might go and they just might be sleeping, and that's cool too. We just observe them while they're sleeping, and it's really cool because they're like sleepwalkers. So I forgot what the technical name of it is, but their brains remain half activated while they're sleeping. And essentially that means that they, without even waking up, go up to take a breath, because they can only stay underwater for about 20 minutes before they need to take a breath. And so they'll be laying there, and then they just come up slowly, take a breath, and come right back down. And they are asleep the whole time. It's really, really interesting to see. So whether you're having them in an active environment where they want to play with you or just kind of see what you're all about, or if they're napping, it's really incredible. No matter what time you're seeing these manatees, they're so interesting to observe.
That is, and again, the story, I'm there. I've been there. I've seen it. I was sorry I didn't get in the water. It was cold. I didn't have a wetsuit.
Oh, we got to
And
change that, Patty. We got
yeah,
to.
okay, I got to get down there. Let's talk about the best times. You mentioned different times of the year to come down. I guess, what are the best times, depending on what you're looking to do?
Well, I mean, it really all depends, like you said, what you want to do. Now, if it's a little bit of a catch-22 with Three Sisters Springs, right? Because during manatee season, what's declared manatee season, there's really no official like day to day, even though there is according to Fish and Wildlife. But like manatees go with the weather. So like right now, we are still technically in manatee season until March 31st, but the weather's warmed up, the manatees are gone. So or for the most part, they're gone out of the springs. So it really all depends on the weather. But we like to say, if you're really here to see thousands of manatees in one area and just observe like the huge collective of them, the winter time is the best time for you to come. Somewhere between November and February is the perfect time to come observe manatees. That said, you could come right now and you'd find manatees. Our tour guides are incredible. Our professional operators here, the different companies that are here, are able to find them with rather ease, which is surprising when there's only like 50 out in the Gulf at one time, but there are in the Bay rather. So any time is a good time to go observe manatees. If you want to see that huge crowd, we always like to recommend during the winter months. Now, we're also really famous for our fishing and our scalloping. And scallop season happens in the summer, starting in July. So if you're here to go scalloping, which is something that I'm very excited about, I've yet to go do since I started working here, but this summer I'm going to be scalloping like a fiend. So I'm very excited about that. That's going to be starting in July, and we recommend starting those reservations earlier because they tend to book up pretty fast. So a lot of our manatee tour operators also do scalloping charters. So you can find it with relative ease, not only on our website, discovercrystalriverfl.com, but then also with different tour operators. If you're searching manatee tours or scalloping tours in Crystal River, you'll be able to find it. So those are kind of the two big things. And then if you're more of a outdoor activity in terms of like being outside of the water in Inverness, there's the Withlacoochee State Trail. There we are.
Say that 10 times
Patty.
fast.
The Withlacoochee State Trail, 46 miles of paved bike path. You can get your bike in there and you can go throughout this beautiful trail with these trees that canopy over the way there. It is absolutely beautiful. So whether you're in the water, on the water, or out of the water, there's so much to do here that you can do pretty much all year round. But if we're focusing specifically on manatees, it's during those winter months that they're the most ideal.
I just want to thank you, Nick, for all of the incredible information about manatees, these gentle giants that if you have never experienced it, people have got to go experience a manatee, whether it's on a boardwalk or down in the water from a boat. It's a must before, it's a bucket list must, right?
Absolutely, Patty. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be on. I'm going to put all of your information in the show notes so people could contact you, can check out websites and all of the information we talked about.
Thank you so much, Patty. Thank you for having me on.